Black. I'm the Division Vice President for the Multi-Industry Division here at Action, the fastest growing division at Action right now. Acumatica is really a great product. Quick overview of what we're trying to do today. I mean, this is meant to be something that we just do for our customers, just to kind of share. We want to share some of our experience and some of our skills, some of our challenges that we've run into, and just give you basically something as a customer, something that's going to help you in the future sometime. Scott Smallback is going to be the one presenting this, we are going to get to details of questions. We want to give you time to ask some questions, and we're always looking for feedback. Topics you want to see, feedback on the presentation. Those are all great things. So please feel free to reach back out to us. Just a couple slides from Action. I guess we want to just remind everybody about our options for support. We do run a support operation for the Acumatica customer base. You're welcome to call us anytime for any reason, but we also do offer support agreements. We'll work with you either way. Next slide, please, Scott. Yep, and another place that we had a recent last month's webinar was on support and the Acumatica community. So feel free to go back and look at that. The community is a great place to get involved. It's definitely a spot where there's a lot going on. It's run by Acumatica, so it's the entire customer base that's involved and participating in that. Go back and look at some of the videos from last month. There was a few of them that are available on our Action YouTube channel. A quick reminder, again, this is just kind of, I got you here. Let's just make sure that you're aware that Acumatica does have a product life cycle, and you can see it's kind of stepping forward. It's a march forward kind of concept that Acumatica uses to keep improving, keep moving forward. When you do get behind, there's a penalty for getting behind. Just want to keep that on your radar. Some of you may be using the Always Current program. Others, maybe a little more complex, maybe have some customizations or some integrations. We then have to be a little more careful with sandboxes and make sure that we get you upgraded. But just remember that that should be part of your plans and part of your schedule each year to stay current. And with that, we're going to turn it over to Scott, and he's going to take us through a few bullet points, and he's going to get into the software. So take it away, Scott.
All right, thanks, Bob. My name is Scott Smallback, an application consultant with Action. And today we're going to look at the dashboard overview. A couple of sessions ago, we did a session on generic inquiries. And what we're going to see when we start to look at the dashboards, they're built right on top of those generic inquiries. So, so you'll have a foundation that, we build upon from generic inquiries now into dashboards. But with the dashboards, you're able to really get that overview of the information, all the information. In my opinion, the dashboard should really be tailored to letting the whatever user, whatever their role is within the organization, anything that they need to take action on should be on that dashboard, so that a user isn't having to spend time looking up records, reviewing, open orders or back orders or, opportunities on the sales side. Everything should be presented in, that they need to take action on in a way that's very easy for them just to see a card that's highlighted or see a metric that is out of line, and they just drill into that, take care of it, and then the dashboard is reflecting that. So you really can get a good overview of everything that's going on for that particular user in their role, and be able to see that. And then from a management perspective, having that management overview as well, where you can see trends, you can see key performance indicators, and then drill right down into the specifics of any of those that you want to really get into the details on. A dashboard, we'll look here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to create an example. We'll look at some in the system, but really you create a dashboard record basically that's just kind of the container for the dashboard. But it also gives you, as we'll see, some filtering capability where if we want to look at a particular customer or particular project or put in some other date values, we can set those up in that when we first create the dashboard. And like I said, all the widgets and all the data is built on generic inquiries. So we'll make sure that you guys understand, generic inquiries and where those are. And then the widgets themselves are, the visualizations that take the complex and data out of the system and then summarize that into a very easy to digest view that allows somebody to take action. So whether that's something that's overdue, whether that's an amount that's out of line over a credit limit or something like that, the widgets can reflect that, as well as different charts and trend lines. And if you happen to use Power BI, for example, that external data can be linked into those dashboards as well. So a Power BI tile, an external URL to a website, or as we could see even on the project dashboard, a webcam that shows the product site, right from within the dashboard. So with that, let's go ahead and tab over into my, there we go, into Acumatica. For each of these webinars, I do always want to make sure and remind everyone about Acumatica Open University. Within Acumatica Open University, there's a course catalog with all of these topics that we've been talking about. So I can come down here and I can find dashboard and widget design right there. And so these are available to all end users to log in here, take advantage of a lot of great training. And there's so much work behind all this documentation and training. And that to me is one of the differentiators with Acumatica, is that they really have fulfilled, the documentation, the help, the training, whether it's for end users or partners. And so, take advantage of that, because a lot of effort goes into getting all that content created and available for you. So inside of Acumatica, under dashboards, or within the different workspaces, there's often a dashboard section. You can see that Acumatica out of the box has included a lot of standard dashboard views. And so with any of these, we can get a starting point of a dashboard that, even though it's out of the box, it's really tailored for a specific role. And now this is where you're able then to come in, modify these dashboards as you need to, for the specific things within your organization. But here as an AR clerk, I have, these tiles that you'll notice how they change colors. All these greens are telling me, okay, these are all in line with the with the expectations of the business. And yet here we have, 7 unreleased documents that we need to take care of, and that's in a yellow state. Then we've got invoices to email or overdue accounts receivables that are in this red state. And so the system is automatically just telling me at a glance, I need to go in and take and address these different things. When that's all green, I know that I've caught up on all of the tasks within Acumatica that need my attention. So in addition to those scorecards, you can see there's also a variety of charts and graphs and things that we can present the information in a lot of different ways. And so we'll look at that, but going through these sample dashboards is very helpful in being able to see, an example perhaps of something that you'd like to do. Maybe I know here if I go to dashboards and I'm looking at my customer view, for example, maybe I want to say, how do I, maybe I care about not open opportunities, but I also want to see, closed ones or something like that. How do I go in and see that? Well, if I, click on design and go into that particular widget, I can start to look at, what the filters were to make this particular one, which inquiry screen or generic inquiry is underlying that particular widget, and then all the settings for that. So you can learn a lot by copying existing. So, definitely take some time, even if it's a dashboard that, it may not be one that's of interest to you. It may be doing something that, gives you the idea or an example of something you actually do want to do. just want to point out one more thing on this customer view. Um, we looked at how we have all different widgets available to us, but notice we can also add a parameter value here. So here we're looking at all the customers, but I could actually go ahead and filter down, and let's look at this Alta Ace customer. And now all of these dashboard widgets are reflective of just this one specific customer. And so I'll show you where that's configured, but you can set up, it's not limited to one selection here either. You can have multiple values that you select by. So it makes it to where you're not just looking at a set of data that's already predefined necessarily, even though you may want some of those. Those certainly have a place if somebody's like like we looked at the AR clerk, or maybe we're looking at a salesperson dashboard. No reason to necessarily have a filter on there. You can utilize the capability of the system to automatically filter it down to that user automatically. But then if you do have a view where you want to have a parameter like customer here, it's certainly capable of doing that. All right, so let's go ahead and let's create an example just to give you a feel for the whole process. So if I type dashboards here, this is a place where you're basically just creating the dashboard itself. And so this is going to be our Acumatica dashboard demonstration. The owner role is what who owns this particular dashboard. I'm going to go ahead and set that to dashboard designer role. And then you can see here in all the different roles, access roles that are in the system, and you can determine who has access to this dashboard. So if this was something, like an AP person or an AR person, you can go ahead and select the right roles for who should have visibility into this dashboard. If you notice, I clicked on that design icon and I was able to make changes. Users are able to, if this allow users to personalize checkboxes checked, users are allowed then to basically create their own copy of that dashboard and then make modifications to it, which you may or may not want to allow for any given dashboard. So I'll just uncheck that. And then, do you want this dashboard to also be available on the mobile application? So again, Acumatica has enabled dashboards within this web interface inside of a browser. Dashboards also are available to be published out onto the mobile app as well. And I'm going to say make visible on the UI, which will then add it to the sitemap. Here's the title on the sitemap. I would recommend, if possible, not just with dashboards, but with anything that you're adding to the sitemap, to name it the same as what you're going to put it in there as the sitemap title. It just makes it a little easier to find, because you may be looking for Acumatica dashboard demonstration and you're looking in here and you're not finding it because maybe you named it something else when you first created it. So I know that can save a little effort, maybe saves you from going to the sitemap and actually searching for this particular item. And then what workspace you want this to appear in. Let's just choose dashboards. A lot of times, in addition to dashboards, you would include it in the workspace, like, opportunities or payables or whatever the right dashboard would be. And then if you ever notice within the workspace, you've got things grouped into different categories. We're going to certainly want this in the dashboard category, but that's where you could have like reports or inquiries or all the different sections of the workspaces. All right. The only other thing you're really doing here, besides just creating a dashboard, is this is where you're able to then create those parameters. So when you saw how we had a customer selection right there, then I would go and find, and this is getting a little bit into the details of the system and finding a particular field in the data schema. But I just want to make you aware of it more than anything, so that you can so that you'd be able to, even if you can't do it yourself, you'd be able to be aware of the functionality and go from there. So I'm going to look up business account. And then I could grab the account right there. and then that would add this to the add this filter to it. And again, you could have, like I said, you know, I have one where I've got like a date range that I'm selecting, a beginning date and an ending date, as well as another one where I'm doing a range in values. So if it's over a certain, you know, minimum number, maximum number, things like that. So you can do a lot with the parameters there. It's just that if you weren't aware of this, I just want to point it out. It's not the easiest thing to find when you're, you know, going through and creating a new dashboard if you're doing it for the first time. All right. So with that, we've created the dashboard. And so now if we go to dashboards, we should certainly see it on there. Right here, Acumatica dashboard demonstration. And we're on this blank slate, ready to design our dashboard. And so I'm going to go ahead and click this design. And I'm actually first going to click on edit layout. And this lets you just kind of define some column views here. You want just one space for your dashboard, you know, a 50-50 split with two different columns, you know, 2/3 on the left, 1/3 on the right, kind of a thing. I'm going to select this 2 columns. One is a smaller column with 1/3, 2/3 on the right. And that just, you know, you can't really see it, but that's really divided it up now where this widget here on the left is in that 1/3 size column, and this one over here on the right, and if we need another one over here, you know, would take up 2/3 of the space. So I'm going to go ahead and click add a new widget, and let's go ahead and display just that simple key performance indicator, like we saw those counts on the AR clerk. And I'm going to go ahead and just utilize vendor documents to pay. And I can add some filtering here if I'd like to. Again, if you're familiar with working with filters inside of inquiries or anywhere else within Acumatica, this is the same you know, type of way of setting up the filters, which again, it's so nice with Acumatica having everything in one system. You learn how to do something in one area, you're able to apply it elsewhere. But in this case, we really don't need any filters. On the refresh data, the dashboard will continually refresh automatically based on the time you set here. So if you're like a customer service representative and that data can be coming in and being updated on you know, a real-time basis, you know, set this thing down to 5 minutes so that that's updating the information every 5 minutes. If I just really care to see this and, you know, it's not really that time critical, you know, like, you know, these documents that are payable, I'm going to go ahead and I could just say, you know, on page reload, you know, so it's only going to refresh the data if I actually come into this screen or refresh it. But we want to go ahead and the amount is the field we want to work with, and we want to see a sum of that. And this is where you can set those basically where the card will change color based on different, you know, like an alarm based on the values. And so in this case, let's say that the normal level is 0 and the alarm level might be, you know, 250,000. I haven't actually looked at this to see what the how much it is. So let's take a look here and unclick design. So 3.3 million right now is how much there is. So let's go back and design that again. And I'm going to go ahead and increase this to 5 million. And then I'm going to go ahead and also scroll down just a little bit. That's a scorecard. So we can set this as a scorecard or a meter. I'll show you the meter here in just a second if we have time. And then the icon, account balance. And here I'm going to say balance to pay and say finish. And so right there, you see that now turns yellow because it's in that range between 0 and 5 million. And so it's in that yellow range, 3.3 million. I can also resize this here and make it to where I can have, you know, a lot of times to get, like we saw in the AR clerk, you know, you can get a lot of these widgets on the screen to really present these cards in a, you know, very efficient use of space. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that one more time. And this time, oh, actually, this is new, so let me, rather than recreating this from scratch, as of 2021 R1, you're actually able to copy an individual widget and then paste it in. So now I've actually just created that exact same one. So that's a great new feature. Really saves time when you've got, you know, you spent time getting the filters just right and the inquiries just right. Now to be able to copy and paste that in there is just great. Really all we need to change here, I just want to change this to be a count. And this time we're going to say 0, and again, I'll just put 500 here and see what we have. Okay, perfect. We only have 35. You know what? That actually, I'm not even going to alarm that until it's a little higher. Let's say it's over 100, and now we should see that that's green. There we go. So here we've added in the balance to pay, and I'm going to change this here a little bit. Let's change the caption and change that icon so it's not a dollar sign. So I'm going to change this to, rather than account balance, let's just do details and documents to pay, and click finish. Perfect. So there I've got those two widgets right here on the screen. And just to show you, let's go ahead and take this balance to pay, and let's go ahead and design it one more time. Copy it again, paste it in here. And this is also new with 2021 R1, is this ability to have this either show as a card like that, or you can have it show as a meter. And I'll click finish on this. So we've got the exact same information. Let's move it over and let's pull it down a little bit. So we've got the exact same information as this first one here, but now we have it in a meter format. And if I had actually gone ahead and set my minimum a little higher, let's make that 1 million. That gives us a little more. There we go. So now we've got, 0 to 1 million. We're considering, that we're in business there. Don't really have any action to take. We're in this range here is our, kind of our normal, but we need to work on it. And then, as it gets up into an alert range over here. So you see, that's the exact same widget right here, just two different ways to see the same information. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add one more item to our dashboard here. Let's go ahead and on the right-hand side, I'm going to add a new widget. And this time I'm going to do a data table. And this is going to show, kind of like an inquiry view where it's showing the information from a particular inquiry. And again, we're always basing these off of an inquiry. And I would also recommend that you create, you have your inquiries and data views that users are using for their day-to-day work. For any type of dashboards or business events that rely on inquiries, it's good practice to create those as a copy, so it's independent of the actual one that you're using as your data view in the system. That way you can make changes to that inquiry, add different results to it, do some aggregation, and whatever you need to do to make it work with the dashboard without impacting the users of the system. And so here we're going to go ahead and now, so we've added the inquiry. We really don't need any filters again. We'll go ahead and add the columns. So we probably don't need, let's go ahead and get rid of some of these. We'll have the reference number, vendor, date, fine. Let's get rid of that date. Due date, amount, balance. Sometimes on the dashboard, you really want to kind of really limit down the column. So I just went ahead and did those 5, and here it's going to be, and we can just name this vendor documents pay, and I'll go ahead and say finish. And now here I can go ahead and make this, take that full, grab it here, that full 2/3 there. And within here I can move my columns around a little bit, make sure those look good for everybody that's looking at this. Expand these out a bit. Count amount certainly doesn't need to be, oh, I lost my, it's off the screen here apparently. All right, so once you get in, I can also set that to be, however tall I want it to be. In the data grid here, you can specify some of the behavior. So if you wanted it to automatically adjust the height based on the number of records, you can do that there instead of setting it to a certain size. And then you can say how many records you would want to actually display if you're having the system automatically adjust it. And then we'll go ahead and say finish. So again, if I design here or go back to the view, we've just got this very simple dashboard We created the dashboard record on the dashboards form. We added a couple of KPI scorecards here with an amount and a count. Also looked at seeing that same KPI in a meter format. And then we just added a data grid. So from a very introductory standpoint, I just want to give you a flavor of working with the dashboards. And then of course, because these are hyperlinks, I can drill now right into this particular document or right into that particular vendor and open it up from there. So are there any questions that came up here either as a result of today or that have been on your mind? We've just got about 5 more minutes here in the half hour.
Not see any questions yet, Scott, but you guys are welcome to put those into the chat section. Oh, here we go. What version are you working in right now?
That was 2021 R1. I believe. You might make a liar out of me because as I said that, I think I did actually. Oh yeah, that one is. Perfect. Okay. Well, Bob, we're right here at the end of the half hour. Did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Yeah, no, just wanted to thank everybody. Thank you, Scott, for a great presentation. I think that was a very good, thorough kind of step-by-step process through through the dashboard widget creation and how they work. Hopefully, you all found value in this. You know, we're looking for feedback, on the presentation. We're looking for feedback on the content, future topics. We'd love to hear from you. Anybody's got any feedback for us. So with that, maybe we'll give a little bit of your time back to you for the day, and truly appreciate your time and your attention and your your relationship with Action. So thank you so much for coming and joining us today.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Have a great day.